Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the boat. And guys, let's get this thing kicked off, man. Let's get it kicked off. News, of course, everybody I'm sure know about it. Just yesterday, Tiger Woods, 7 a.m. in the morning, 7:12, I think it was a.m. in the morning. Tiger Woods had a horrific accident, life-threatening, definitely accident. Thank God we still have Tiger here with us, and I'm sure, just like, myself, I'm sure everyone had that same sickening in their stomach, like, when they saw Kobe Bryant's helicopter, you thought the worst, and definitely Tiger didn't come out unscathed or anything like that. Bruised, battered, and torn, surgery, crushed ankle, had to, be, removed from his car, not by the jaws of life, but still had to be pried out. Man, Tiger's had some bad luck, bro. I mean, it's just been one of those things where he seems like things are, getting back on track. Just like we saw, him and his son Charlie out there golfing a few weeks ago together in the father and son deal. And the smile on Tiger's face was, that smile of glee of a son and a father together doing their thing. I was out today playing basketball with my son, and I heard the ball bounce, and I was upstairs, actually in this room right here. Got a golf simulator on the other side here, and I was hit some golf balls, and I heard the basketball, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go down and get a game in with Kendrick, and I schooled him, and but just, it was just so fun being out there with my son. So I know that feeling right there. But there again, man, Tiger's just had some bad luck coming his way, and from the toxicology report, they say it didn't have anything to do with alcohol, drugs, or anything like that. Just in a hurry on his way to the golf course to get some work done. What do you think, man?
I was like you. I was actually watching the news as it happened. I saw as soon as they broke in, they're like, hey, we're getting news about Tiger Woods. And like everybody else, and you already made a reference to it, first thing I thought is, oh my God, I mean, this time last year, almost a year ago, was the Kobe thing on a hill, in a vehicle. And I was very glad. And then when you hear Jaws of Life, which I guess turned out not to be true, they didn't use the Jaws of Life. Is that what I understand?
They didn't, yeah.
But when you hear all those things, it's the first thing your mind races to. And then, though, to hear about the severity of the injuries, compound fracture, shattering his ankle, having to undergo major surgery in order to at least get him back to somewhat functioning. I'm sure there's going to be subsequent surgeries down the road. I know this is a guy who's already had upwards of 24 surgeries in his career, so it's nothing new for him. But you have to wonder, at the age that he is, the amount of surgeries that he's had, now with the recovery time this is going to take, you start to wonder, is he going to be able to even come back and be a semblance of what he was prior? I don't know. I would hope so. But I think that his career is obviously in jeopardy after this. Wouldn't you imagine?
Honestly, man, that's the last thing I would be thinking about if I was Tiger. I mean, me personally, I think
right.
I'm putting putting Tiger in my shoes. And if something like that was to happen to me and I walked away from it, still, with life intact, knowing that, okay, I'm gonna have to go through some rehabilitation. I'm gonna have to go through maybe a few more surgeries. But if I was to never play the game at that level ever again, would it bother me? Perhaps a little bit. Would I lose any sleep over it? I don't think so, because Tiger, I think, has done more than any man could ever imagine. One man in that golf game, being number one for 10 years straight, being the number one golfer.
It's crazy.
For 10 years straight, the money that he's made from the game, I don't think it's anything more for Tiger to do other than win a couple more majors. And yeah, would that be icing on the cake for him? Oh, of course. But I think that the bigger picture for me is that Tiger is still among us. More importantly, he's still among his family, and hopefully he'll still be able to go out and hack around the golf course, one day, but more importantly, like his dad did for him, it was going to come a time when Tiger had to step to the side and focus on his kids, and now maybe that time where Tiger have to give his son what his dad didn't give him, so his son Charlie will not fall in those same freaking traps that Tiger fell in. Because as soon as Tiger had lost his dad, that's when Tiger started, really, get putting himself out there, start hanging out with Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, start going to Vegas, and then all of a sudden, the beast came out of Tiger Woods. You know what I mean? So I think it's important for Tiger, as still a relatively young man, to give his son that guidance and that expert tutelage that there again, that his dad didn't give him once upon a time.
Yeah, they say that sins of a father can make your life 3 times harder, and I think though that if Charlie can learn from and have Tiger there to help him, guide him in his career, that'd be great. I just, as a golf fan, we've talked about it probably since the inception of this show. Of Tiger, when Tiger's hot and Tiger's around, the sport of golf is more interesting. The game of golf draws a bigger audience. And you saw yesterday I think that they interrupted when the president was talking. You know what I mean? They interrupted the president to say, we're hearing something about Tiger Woods. It shows you what an American icon he truly is, what one of the greats, maybe the greatest golfer of all time, and what he means to people. So when I think about him coming back after this, it's more so for selfish purposes. I'm glad that he's all right. I'm more than glad that he's okay and able to live another day. I would love to see him, though, because remember, what was it, 2 years ago that he won the Masters?
19, yeah.
You remember how crazy the scenes from that day were? I mean, you had gaggles of people, flocks of individuals following him from hole to hole. And even the people that Tiger beat were happy to see him win. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it almost makes you think they lost on purpose.
It makes you think that way, right? Yeah. I thought that. I'm like, you know what? They might say, you know what? Let Tiger have this one.
He had 3 guys up before him, and literally all 3 of them put it in the water except Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute here. Come on, guys.
That's the golf gods at work.
But we hope, we hope and pray that we could see one more, chapter from Tiger Woods. Tiger, make a, a miracle comeback. Come out and win another major. Maybe you never know. But it's definitely going to be a hard road back. If you saw the car.
Oh my goodness!
Pulled it up out of that little canyon there. It was definitely, the front end was banged up pretty good, which means, you can imagine his legs went through, quite a beating. So you just wonder, man, if he's going to be able to come back and walk again, because that's going to be something, to see Tiger Woods, take that first step. And, man, I just pray for him more than anything. I just pray for him because Tiger Woods, like you say, he is an American icon. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that, made someone like me want to pick up the golf clubs and try to figure out how to play the game. And I know before Tiger, I never thought about, picking up the golf clubs. You know what I mean? He made a brother feel like, man, he could do it. And actually, yesterday on the phone, I was actually talking to some representative from the PGA trying to get out and do some celebrity stuff. When the phone call actually came in, and then I went downstairs and watched the news, and boom, that's when it was on. So man, I'm praying for him, man, and I'm gonna keep hacking for Tiger. I got a little strawberry right here on my finger, if you can see it.
See it.
Yeah, a little strawberry from getting out there on the golf driving range. Yesterday hitting balls. And the thing is, man, I hit on my simulator all the time. I never pull the skin off my hand. And I go out to the driving range, I'm hitting balls so freaking hard, I pull the skin off my hand, and I'm getting ready to leave, and this guy goes, hey, man, I got a few balls here. It's probably about 20, 30 balls he was going to give me. And I looked at my finger, and the skin was coming off from hitting, maybe 80 balls. And I was like, wow, man, I'm feeling it again. You know, the strawberry didn't bother me one bit. You know, it made me feel like I was back in the game, you know. So, but I didn't hit those balls the guy gave me. I went home. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. One of my boys, Devon Dudley. Want to send a big shout out to Devon Dudley. He's getting over a stroke. I don't know how serious it was, but I remember a while back, Devon it took some time off, and we were wondering, man, where's Devon? You know, everybody was wondering, well, where's Devon? But you know, I didn't say anything. People were, you know, I had heard a couple of things about Devon, so they posted, man, Devon, get well, you know, whatnot, you know. And Devon being, you know, a man that's, I guess, he's vain in a little sense. He puts out a post and say, guys, I'm not dead. You know, what are y'all talking about? I'm just, you know what I mean? I just took some time off. And then he had to take a little extra time off. So he put out a statement saying, yeah, guys, I had a stroke, you know what I mean, whatnot. My thing is this, man, I know Devon, him and I, we got a little, you know, contest going back and forth, you know, this as far as, you know, the Dudley boys or Harlem Heat, you know, how many, you know, official tag team reigns they've had, how many, you know, tag team world title reigns that we've had. I know I promised not to talk about certain things ever again, and I'm not going to talk about that, but Devon, you know, when a brother's down, man, send a shout out, man. Let me know, man, because I care about you, man. I want to make sure, first and foremost, you're okay and you're healthy, bro. I mean, we're going to be having that pose down from here to eternity, man. So I just want to say, man, get yourself together, get back to work, and I can't wait to see my brother Devon Dudley.
Testify. Oh, testify. Yeah, we always love Devon every time he comes down to the reality wrestling. He's been down here a few times and always one of the guys who, and you know what? He always goes the extra mile with the talent. I always see Devon whenever he would come down for one of our shows before he went back to WWE, he'd be in the corner and 3 or 4 guys are around him. And I just see him, you know, explaining, you know, what he saw in their match. Okay, I saw this. And he was always willing to give back. So, you know, prayers out to him. I'm glad that he's feeling better.
Definitely, man. Stay off the donuts. Where Devon made his comeback when he went up to the top rope, and I remember I was doing commentary. I remember saying, "Devon, be careful." They was going through the what's up spot, and I'm gonna tell you, man, it was like a rough landing. But again, my brother can't wait to see you again, man. But you know what? As far as a mentoring note, we got to talk about it, man. Big news just broke today. Paul White, formerly known as The Big Show, has now signed with AEW. Hashtag Big Show, Paul White is now All Elite. Man, that's breaking news, man. That's
huge.
That's you know, that's game changing. It's game changing in a lot of ways because, you know, Big Show, formerly known as, was with the WWE for 22 years, man. He pretty much grew up in the company, man. And the thing is, for Big Show to make that decision to make the switch, I tell you, man, this takes me back to the 90s. This takes me back to, WWE versus WCW. Who's going to show up? John Moxley. Bam! John Moxley, he's in the house. Now, Big Show. Of course, Sting. Orrin Anderson, Tully Blanchard. Man, this is beginning to look like something that I have seen in the past once upon a time. But, is it going to, change the landscape of things? Is it a big catch for AEW? That's going to be the question swirling for a while until Big Show either, get in the ring and do what he's going to do, behind the scenes do what he's going to do, commentary do what he's going to do. Time will tell. But right now, the wrestling world, the internet is a-buzzing about Paul White and AEW Wrestling signing a long-term contract. And I'm sure if Big Show signed a long-term contract, it's got a whole lot of ducats floating around. What do you think about this?
I was shocked.
Is this a coup? I remember once back in the day. I remember it was on the Beyond the Mat. That's what is that the name of that show? Beyond the Mat.
It was the documentary.
Documentary, yeah. This new one that comes on. That's the name of it, right?
Oh no, Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. They were showing the guy who was a promoter back in the day, and he was trying to take over one territory, let Vince have the other one, and of course Vince said, "Man, I'm taking it all." But at one point, Herb Abrams had acquired the services of Andre the Giant for the biggest show that he was going to put on. And wait a minute, no, that's not. For the biggest show that he was going to put on, Andre the Giant showed up for that show. Show didn't do great numbers or anything like that, but Herb Abrams had pulled a coup and got Andre the Giant out from under the banner of the WWF at that time. But it only was for one night, and Vince McMahon convinced Andre the Giant to come back. Dadgummit, to the WWE.
They're trying to get you. They're trying to get you right now.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that analysis right there? You think something like that could happen?
I don't. No, I think that Big Show now, or Paul White, as we should say, you know what? We should have seen it coming. His theme song has told it to us for all these years. You won't see it coming, but I promise you'll know, right? So the shock for him to sign, we should have seen it coming. But I was really blown away when I saw it. At first, I told you earlier, I thought it was a fake post. I was like, oh, look at this. Because they've done it for everybody. Brock Lesnar is all elite. Randy Orton is all elite, and they do the little things. But then when I saw that this one was real and it was coming from the official AEW account, I really did think, wow, this feels different. Because the thing with AEW is they have a lot of young talent, great young talent.
Yeah.
The thing that they need to do to expand their horizons and their awareness is getting more talent that people know. You know Chris Jericho. You know Sting. You know The Big Show. It's 100%. You know who that guy is. And I think that helps bring new eyes to the product. I think it's a really smart idea to put him on a show that's brand new and have young guys around him, because hopefully his celebrity, because this is a guy who's coming straight off of a Netflix series. Hopefully his celebrity will bring eyes to these young guys that are going to be on the new AEW Dark YouTube show. And then anybody he wrestles, obviously they're going to be elevated too. I'm shocked though that he made the jump. He never seemed like he seemed like a lifer. Like 22 years, I would have never thought it, especially because we just saw him like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago on TV. We just saw him. And I didn't see it coming, but now it makes me think that anything is possible with AEW as far as the talent that they're able to sign. Because like you said, if they're able to get the Big Show, and the rumor is that he may have parted ways due to the amount of money. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what at least I'm reading, that they couldn't come to terms on money that he is owed or what have you. So if he couldn't come to terms with WWE, he came to terms with AEW. That means they do have a lot of ducats behind that Khan family fortune. And now I think that anybody could conceivably be over there. I think that Brock Lesnar could sign to AEW.
Amen.
I wouldn't be shocked by it.
You know what I think about too is that show that they have, Go Big Show.
Oh, I know. Over there on TNT, right? Yeah, with Cody. Go Big Show.
Come on. You think that's a coincidence?
Yeah, that's good.
You think that's a coincidence? You think that just ironically happened? I don't know, man. But my thing is, I do like I was reading something Tony Khan was saying about Big Show. Big Show could definitely mentor the young guys there. That kind of stuff right there is something that sticks out for me. Just because, Big Show is a guy that's been on the team. He knows what it's like to, get to the big game and score. He's wrestled in main events, so as far as Big Show being something that could add to AEW, yeah, I think yes. In what capacity that they're going to use them, they're going to have to try to figure that out, because me personally, contrary to what a lot of people believe, I still think it's a lot of juice left, in Big Show, as far as being able to go out there and work there again, certain angles, certain ways with certain people, and people buy into it, because there again, this is professional wrestling. If done right, this thing could really pay off in ways that one could only imagine. Seriously, I would love to actually have that project and something to work with. Like that, I was looking at somebody like Booker T. I'm not going anywhere, guys. I'm good right now. But I tell you, it's going to be definitely something to see. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. There again, man. Do you think the Big Show making a big switch to AEW? Big news just broke today, guys. One thing I got out of this thing also was it didn't leak out. Big Show, news came out, bang, when it was supposed to come out. It's actually news. It's not a spoiler or anything like that. I was just talking about how I hate seeing spoilers, just as, I just saw them, like I said, the Miz winning, and no longer than 24 hours, it's coming out. Well, the Miz is just doing it for this reason. I'm like, man, it just spoils everything for me. It's talk, it's chatter about Zelina Vega, perhaps, being a good fit for, perhaps the inner circle. But it's not been any word or rumor or anything like that going around that Zelina Vega is going to be is going to be signing soon with AEW. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's just like, for me, I like Tyra Valkyrie getting her shot in NXT. But, man, she was a draw right off the top. You know what I mean? I say you give her platform and break her in. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? But when I see, the lip still can be buttoned, you know what I mean? Where there again, there's no spoilers. I feel a certain way about it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I like when news is legitimately shocking. I mean, because I was legitimately shocked by this one. I was surprised by Sting, even though we had heard like Sting maybe was coming in, but it was like months ago, and you kind of forgot about it.
That was really all speculation.
It was all speculation. Yeah, it was like, oh, he might be coming in or something like that. Nevertheless, I was surprised by it. I was surprised by Paul White's signing to AEW. And you know what? I mean, here in a few minutes, he's going to be making his debut in AEW on television the same day they announced it, which is just great.
How surprised were you when Chris Jericho signed?
I was actually surprised by Jericho too. Just because I thought that he was a lifer. I guess I didn't take.
How surprised were we when John Moxley signed?
Given that he was leaving, I thought that would be the only place he would go, but it was a surprising moment. It was a surprising moment because I thought he might stay in New Japan.
If you remember what I said when John Moxley left, I said, man, he's just going to take some time off, get himself together, finally find it, he's going to end up, re-sign. I don't know if you remember me.
Right, I do remember that. Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I thought was John Moxley was going to sign with AEW. I just didn't see it. Just because you always wonder, if the grass is greener on the other side, but you wonder, should I try it or not? And now when we got, guys like, Big Show, like you say, we just saw him 4 weeks ago, Legends Night. Okay.
Yeah. You were there.
I was there. We talked. And then a month later, Big Show doesn't sign the contract. And then boom, immediately signs a contract with AEW. That right there.
Tony Khan must be a hell of a negotiator. He might just say, so is it how many zeros does it take? Oh, okay. Here you go.
Here's the check.
You fill it in.
Take this check home with you. We'll talk tomorrow. It's one of those type of deals. But man, it's definitely shocking. You say Brock Lesnar. Let's throw some names out there. Brock Lesnar, right now he's off. He's sitting at home. He's not doing anything. Let's put that name to the side. What other name besides Brock Lesnar do you think could make a move, as far as showing up?
I mean, I think the one that's been beat to death is CM Punk, of course, right?
It is. That's the name that I was thinking about, man. I was wondering if it.
But now I think that it's pop. Remember, he always talks about a truckload of money. They need to bring a big bag. Obviously, the big bags are to be had.
Yeah, look, I'm sure, man. Every time the mailman show up, I'm sure that bag gets smaller. You know what I mean? Because the mailman is dropping off bills, man. Light bill, you know what I mean? Phone bill, you know what I mean? Cable bill, you know what I mean? Mortgage note, you know what I mean? Your girl want the nails and hair done. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, man. That number in that bag, gonna definitely dwindle. The bag is gonna say, man, all right, I'll take this. Give me some incentives. You know what I mean? Give me some points. That type of stuff. I remember they told me one time this clothing line came out, Urban Golf Gear. They said, man, we'll give you some stock, man. I want cash. And they went under it big. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here wishing I took the stock. You know what I mean? So you got to be calculating when I'm doing something like that. And I'm sure CM Punk, that would be the name that will pop the business if he was to show up. Because I'm like this here. If Sting at 61 could take a power bomb, Punk at 41 could take one.
Punk should be able to do it at 41. Here, let me ask you this, though. And I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'll be honest with you, the wrestling fan in me loves this back and forth, the drama and the story of everything. Does AEW run the risk that WCW did back in the day where you have all this pure homegrown talent, but it seems to be more spotlight is put on the older set of guys from the other company coming in, right? I mean, Jericho's closer to the end of his career than the beginning. You say the same thing for Sting, The Big Show, other names such as that. Do you think that they're in risk of going too much with the older name recognized talent and not focusing on the young stars like WCW did at one point?
I really think a lesson was learned from WCW. I mean, you got to be able to pick and choose. And like you said a second ago, You got to have those names on the ticket just to sell, just say, for instance, overseas market. You know what I mean? And just to get, people's eyes, on the product. I think WCW back in the day, I really don't know what Eric Bischoff and those guys were thinking, because they were hiring every guy that were out there, and whether the guy had star power or not, if the guy was just a wrestler, they hired him just so WWE wouldn't get those guys. A lot of those guys were ex-WWE guys that WWE didn't want anymore, and they just hired them. They were trying to corner the market. That's exactly what they were trying to do. They had guys on the payroll. Lenny Poffo was making $250,000 a year, okay? And I think I saw him once, okay? The whole, I'm serious. Horace Hogan, I don't know how much money Horace Hogan was making, but have you,
how much money did he draw?
Yeah, me and Horace was good buddies too. When the last time you seen Horace Hogan?
1997.
Exactly my point. You know what I mean? Nord the Barbarian. You know what I mean? We had guys like these guys were making six figures. You know what I mean? Big long green ducats. And they were doing nothing. There again, we had Sturgis, Hog Wild, pay-per-view. Nobody paid for a ticket. It was the craziest thing I'd ever. So it was money literally just going out of the buckets of just pouring it out the window. So I don't think Tony Khan is going to go that route. But if it's a few guys out there that could, bring recognition, I think I really don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't, because for me, it's marketing. It's about trying to get people to eyes on the show. I got to be able to use these older guys to work with these younger guys, mentor these younger guys, because you got to like the house party. What's the name? A private party. These guys are really young guys, and if you ain't got somebody to mentor them and tell them, man, this thing could be here today and gone tomorrow before you know it, if you don't wise up, okay? Like just say for instance, Sammy Guevara. You know what I mean? Sammy might need somebody to, say, because I know if I was there, I'd pull Sammy aside and say, hey, man, look here, bro. Don't do this because that could lead to this. And I'm just telling you from experience. And I wouldn't be telling him that if I wasn't there to help him. That's why these guys, I think, are put in these positions, like Orrin Anderson, Tully Blanchard, whatnot. So I could see, certain guys being put in certain positions for certain reasons. We had a debate, you and I, a few weeks back, if I was going to start a wrestling company, what guy would, I use to start that company. I said AJ Styles, and I said, right? Why? Because AJ Styles has been in the trenches. He's been there. He's been all over the world. He knows exactly what it takes to make it to that next level. So for some young guy, there again, I use Roger Federer. Just on Monday, I say, if you don't think Roger Federer can help you get to, the Open, you got a problem. And that's what I think these guys are there for.
I know. I think you make a great point, and I was really playing devil's advocate. I like seeing the influx of talent and the old and the new working in concert with each other. It's actually somewhat remnant of my favorite time in Impact wrestling history, when you and Kev and Steiner and Angle were all over there working with Joe and Bobby and AJ and Petey and all those guys. That's kind of what I feel like right now. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. And here's the other thing, Book, that we have to think about. Do you realize who are both in AEW now at the same time?
Who's that?
The Big Show and Shaq. We can finally get the match of the big men. We can get it what was promised at WrestleMania, Booker T.
Hey, man, you never know, man. You never know, man. But, hey, man, that's just the way the old mob flop, like my brother said. But, hopefully things will work out and the war shall continue. But right now, guys, we up out this mug.